Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Monday, the 6th of October, 2025. Starting with the synoptic night last night. This what was initially an as high has moved its way in quite significantly now, wedged in the Bay of Biscay, and it's holding off a little bit of this low pressure out to the west and is bringing us more settled conditions for the start of this week. By midday today, that's moving sort of northeasterly, but still keeping a high pressure over the south of the UK. Out to the west, we've got a bit of a frontal system centered around a number of lows up around Iceland, and that may get to us the next couple of days as this high tracks away into tomorrow and Wednesday. A cold front being the predominant feature there. A very, very long cold front centered sort of well north of Iceland, in Greenland there. And so that may get to us around Wednesday lunchtime. But then another high coming in, holding off any further weather for the rest of the week. Back to today, sat pick. So we can see here at 8 o'clock this morning, locally to us, we're fairly clear of any cloud. Reasonable amount of wave going on in Scotland and less so in North Wales, and bank of cloud to the east of us. Rain radar, nothing particularly concerning in the south, little band there just going through towards East Anglia. I think that's going to affect us at the moment. And likewise for the rest of the day, if we just run the Met Office prediction through here, the occasional very, very light shower, but nothing of great significance. The Iodium TAF, wind-wise today, 240 degrees, 6 knots. Visibility is greater than 10 kilometers, a few clouds at 1,000 feet. And then a tempo scattered at 1,700 feet for much of today, and prop 30 this morning was scattered at 1,000 feet. Farnborough, they're showing 250 degrees, 8 knots, so more or less the same as Odium. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers and few cloud at 4,000 feet. Spot winds to the south of us, 260 degrees, around 10 or 15 knots. Flying heights and to the north, more or less the same, or 270, so slightly more westerly, 15 knots. So we can expect a broadly westerly flow at height. And in fact, across the airfield, if we look here at windy, showing straight down runway 27, fairly moderate flow. Wind strength, according to the local Met Office forecast, of anywhere between sort of 7 and 10 knots, with gusts up to and around 15 or 16. So a little bit calmer than we've seen in previous days. Reasonable visibility at times, and slightly warmer than has been seen in the last couple of days. GFS giving prediction of around 19 degrees, which I think is probably slightly optimistic, and maybe 1 or 2 degrees too high, and a dew point there of 11. This is the UA on the south, so looking towards 2XL, and you can see there as I refreshed it, any of that sort of low level cloud is broken up quite significantly and is opening up and clear above, and just the occasional wisp of lower level cloud on the horizon there. Local weather went out to 10.2 degrees with a dew point of 8.1. And just reset that there. Look at the sky sight now with the point forecast for Lasham on the right-hand side here, showing, as we said, a little bit of lower sort of scattered cloud this morning, breaking away fairly early, and then remaining more or less blue for the rest of the day here. Skysight reckons reasonably soarable locally. It was yesterday as well, but less wind, so hopefully a little bit less broken. That was up to 1,500 feet, maybe just shy of 2,000 feet above the airfield, with 1 to 2 knot climbs. The upper wind, thermal top wind here, showing yes, definitely much lighter, northwesterly, a bit more of a northerly component here than the Met Office was suggesting, and that's only around 10 to 15 knots. Cloud distribution here on top Meteo. You can see this beginning at 9 o'clock local time, with a thin layer of altocumulus over our part of the country. That's in fact broken up already and is not a factor at this time. We run this through though hour by hour. See that's breaking up and blowing out by midday. And in fact, that has already happened. No cumulus expected really in our local area here down to the southwest. Possibility of some, but generally blue here. And then a little bit of cirrus later on as the evening approaches. NOTAMs, in the interim using NOTAM info as our source here. We have nothing of great significance here. The balloon festival from Pop North didn't happen, and that's now gone. And there's nothing else locally to affect us. We'll move on now to the got a booking section. We have two K21s this morning for booked instruction, one K21 on the casual list, and plenty of single-seater availability. There are three on the casual list, I think mostly solo. If there is an instructor around wants to come and help out, maybe lend a hand on the launch point, that would be much appreciated. The simulator is, of course, available as normal, and we have nothing to report from 2XL this morning. In summary, high pressure to the south, bringing more settled conditions. Blue in the afternoon with the possibility of some local soaring and a moderate westerly flow across the airfield. With that in mind, we'll be operating on runway 27 with cables on the grass to the south. And just a reminder, the grass is quite damp, so be mindful of wheel brake use. Instructors, of course, please do not brief at the front of the queue and do not land or taxi across the disused runways that we'll see shortly. A reminder again of SPL rules now apply, so I'll be going around and spot checking at times. If you are flying solo today, make sure that if you have an SPL, you're within recency. And if you don't have an SPL, that you are directly authorized by an instructor and that you do hold at least a pilot medical declaration. There's our airfield set up to finish, and reminder not to land or taxi across the disused runways shown in red, with the launch point there, winch to the south of the main runway, returning from the hard. That's all from me. We'll see you shortly out there. Have a good day and keep it safe. Thank you.